I got 2 days of out of school suspension for skipping accounting class one time. I wasn't suspended, but I did get in trouble in the 2nd grade because I called a kid a tattletale and he told on me. Yes, I was technically expelled for 3/4 of my sophomore year in high school because I was an idiot and got caught selling other kids my Ritalin pills. Part of the fallout of that was mandatory community volunteer service, which I served by helping my mother as a teacher's aide at the local special needs school. The school even sent me a tutor so I could complete my classes. Returned back to school the first day of junior year and heard all the crazy rumors of how I was some big time Greek dealer and was sent to juvie. I wish I was that badass. I brought in bullets that I bought in an army museum. Got them out in a lesson. Had them taken off me. 2 lessons later, I was taken out of class by the lady that deals with the naughty kids. Pastoral teacher was her job title, I think, and she somehow knew what I'd done over the weekend. So you went to the army museum on Saturday then, and took me straight to the headmaster's office. In there was a table set up dramatically in the room with the bullets on, him with a stern face and a police officer with a slightly sterner one. Got a bollocking. My headmaster called my mum on speakerphone. She laughed at the stupidity of calling the police and kinda ruined the effect he was going for, and the police officer actually turned out to be quite nice. Showed me how he knew they had been fired and that I just should keep them to myself if I ever bought them again. He took them away from me and took names and crap. I was excluded for 2 days and spent a week in the inclusion unit, which was nice, cause it was built for kids with special needs more than naughty kids and had 2 dogs, fish, and Xbox and a seemingly unlimited supply of cookies. Almost made me want to get in trouble again. I was excluded for 2 days and spent a week in the inclusion unit, which was nice, cause it was built for kids with special needs more than naughty kids and had 2 dogs, fish, and Xbox and a seemingly unlimited supply of cookies. Almost made me want to get in trouble again. That sounds dope. In 1999 I was expelled from public school, along with a boatload of other students, for being a guy with long hair, with a superintendent, who had been fired from his previous 2 jobs and would go on to give himself raises until he was paid more than the governor. Implemented a strictly racist dress code policy stating that guys couldn't have piercings or long hair, that visible tattoos and non-natural hair colors were banned, that certain widths of pants legs were banned, etc. It was all clearly targeting a specific group of people, the skater grungy freaky folks. And like clockwork, these kids started dropping out of high school and getting expelled, left and right. When we had a protest against it, they sent a school board representative to talk to us. He took the stand and said that we can't be trusted to choose our own dress when we can't be trusted to sit down in the back of a truck, a reference to a high school student who died the previous day falling from the bed of a moving truck. Fricked up, and you probably never heard anything about it. Some girls, I am also a girl, ganged up on me when I was in grade 5. I was a year younger than everyone else due to the teachers deciding to skip me ahead a grade, so I was also a lot smaller than them. Anyway, we went around the back of the school where no one else was and they started punching me and I tried to hit back, but being 9 years old, I didn't know how to. The teachers found out about it and we were all suspended for a single day, I think. Mom made me do yard work. That's upsetting. Hope you burned their houses down or so. Got in school suspension in 8th grade. Kid who I absolutely hated came up from behind me and dead-legged me. Basically he kneed me in the back of the leg so hard I couldn't walk. I turned around and punched him right across the face. Administration didn't buy my excuse. I was trying my defend myself. Worth every bit of it. Frick that kid. I never even got detention, but my dad was expelled from high school. The story is that he brought his dirt bike in, with his teacher's permission, to work on in some mechanical metalworking class. One of his friends dared him to ride it down the hall. Apparently he accepted the challenge and threw in a wheelie for good measure, as he passed the principal's office. My dad generally likes to exaggerate, but this story has been corroborated with reliable sources. I got detention so much that I knew the teacher would make kids write 3 pages double-sided of the same phrase as punishment. I started writing them in advance. Every day in 3rd period biology I would walk to the teacher's lounge, take whatever frozen treats, food, or sodas were available, and just walk out. This went on for months until my vice principal asked me what I was doing. 5-day suspension. Nobody suspected me of wrongdoing because I walked in there with so much confidence everyone assumed I was allowed in. I would often have conversations with teachers in the lounge while stealing, right in front of them, and they never asked. I repeatedly harassed my high school Spanish teacher for spending more time talking about cheerleading and prom committee instead of teaching Spanish. She showed us the movie Spanglish, so I got suspended. A lot. When I was in high school, I was really into collecting hot sauces. I had picked up a bottle of Satan's blood on a vacation and thought it'd be fun to take it to school and goof off with friends. The bottle ended up leaving my control and circulated the cafeteria. People were eating spoonfuls of it on a dare without knowing its power. A drop will spice a bowl of soup. By the afternoon, several kids had been sent home by the school nurse after consuming the sauce. The concerned parents called and wanted some action taken, so I was given ice. My parents thought the whole thing was so absurd and hilarious, and ended up putting the suspension slip in a scrapbook with my baby pics and other sentimental items. Suspended a few times. Once for accumulating too many strikes, breaking small rules, egg chewing gum, or placing my school bag where it doesn't belong. Once for fighting, once for truancy, and once for, in the principal's words, attempting to instigate a mob culture. I was suspended for getting swine flu. Senior year, high school, Louisiana. Height of the swine flu business. I felt crappy on Thursday afternoon. By Friday I was dead. Fever 100 plus, shaking, hallucinating, all 9 yards. No one connected the dots. Didn't even know I had it until the next week, where my doctor sent me to the hospital. I was out of school for 2 weeks, 11 school days. When I finally got back, I had to submit a note to the office. Well, being that I almost died like 3 times in the past 2 weeks, we completely forgot to get it. Well, we called the doctor's office to get a note. Turns out he was on vacation. Wouldn't be back till next week. Called the school. They said no problem. Turn my note in the following week and immediately get told to wait in the office. The principal wants to meet with you. I get in his office and he asks for my note. Not even a note, it was an essay. 2 pages detailing admitting times, fever temperatures, and contact information to collaborate. I hand it to him. He looks up and down the page and tears it up into a million pieces like an angry Neanderthal and throws it in the trash. He says, you know, you have 2 days to turn in the note when you get back from being sick. I explained the situation, but he wasn't having it. My parents were called to pick me up and I was suspended not 30 minutes into the school day. How long? 5 days. Oh, and I wouldn't be able to graduate. No big deal. Long story short, we have to go to the school board, set up a court time to present our evidence for why I shouldn't be suspended, expelled, basically, from school. We show all my doctor notes, bills, etc. and get everything wiped from my school record, and I'm allowed to go back to school. I had a target on my back the rest of the school year with that principal. One time I got a D on some test, called me to his office and had to sit there for 10 minutes listening to him telling me I'll never amount to anything. I should just drop out like all the other degenerates. This happened 10-15 times after this incident. I graduated with everyone else and went to college. Just so you know, I had never attended this school before in my life. I had just moved to Louisiana. My family moved around a lot. I wasn't a troublemaker and my grades rarely dropped below a B average. To this day the same principal still has his job. You should do everyone a solid and burn his house down, with him in it. I got an internal school suspension in high school for 2 days for whacking a kid with a yardstick on the back. I only wish it had been out of anger instead of a joke. Would have at least made the suspension worth it. I forgot my binder at home 3 days in a row in 5th grade and my teacher sent me next door to 1st grade for a day. It wasn't that bad. Coloring is fun and I smashed that addition test. Threw a rock and hit a kid. Got sent to Opportunity School in Central Florida, 8th grade. Did a week and was sent back to regular old school. I really did not think I had a chance of hitting the kid due to his distance. Lucky shot, or unlucky. I got suspended from school in 5th grade because I was caught reading Bram Stoker's Dracula at my desk. I went to a private Christian school. Thanks, parents. That's pretty funny when you consider that Dracula gets knifed in the end. It's not like the book extols the virtues of evil and vampirism.